a game on Satan. When he was to be born, some people believe that Mary and Joseph had no money to pay for the clinic. No, they were rich. In their time, the rich people in their time were the builders. And Joseph was a builder. So he had money. But the Bible said by the time they wanted to pay for somewhere, everywhere has been fully booked. And they had no option than to go to a manger. Now, why did they go to a manger? Because if Jesus is going to answer a lamb, he has to be born where lambs are born. Lambs are not born in the clinic. Human beings are born in the clinic. Lambs are born in a manger. So when you see him and call him the Lamb of God, Satan will say, no, if he's a lamb, where was he born? And they will tell him he is born in a manger. And when Satan hears he's born in a manger, I say through he's a lamb. Because if he's born in a clinic, you can call him a lamb. And he has to be welcomed by those who welcome lambs. And they are sheep and goats who look at lambs and say, you are welcome, our brother. So when Jesus was brought into the temple to be dedicated, the Holy Ghost moved and said to Simeon, Simeon, go to church. At that point, Simeon stepped into the church. As soon as they brought the child, Simeon stood. And the priest said to Simeon, you are the rightful person to dedicate him. You are the one who should dedicate him and bless him. And then they brought him. Simeon carried him in his hand. When Simeon carried this boy, the mother, the father, the church members were waiting for Simeon to start prophesying. Simeon just looked at all of them and looked at the boy. The first thing Simeon said, God, can I die? Because if you brought your child to church and you ask pastor to dedicate your child, and then pastor carries your child and begins to say, God, I want to die, how would you feel? And then when Simeon carried the boy, Simeon said, God, can I die now? Everybody looked at Simeon. What is he trying to say? Is he trying to say that the boy will kill him or what? And then none of them understood what Simeon was saying. It was only God who understood. And Simeon said, my eyes have seen him. I've seen the Messiah. So I'm now free to go to my grave. In any case, Simeon began to bless him. And the first thing he said, he is a light to lighten the Gentiles. Which means the Gentiles has been in darkness. And they needed an opening. And this one is the light that will open them up. He went ahead and said, he is the glory of your people, Israel. Israel already had a light, but they needed glory. There was light, but there was no glory. He said, this one is the glory of Israel. He is a light of the Gentiles. And then he turned to Mary and said to Mary, this your boy is born for the rise and falling of many. As many that believes in him will be lifted. As many who oppose him will go down. And the Bible says in the book of Matthew, whoever falls on the stone shall be broken. And whoever the stone falls on top shall be grinded into powder. He is born for the rise and fall of many in Israel. And then he turned to Mary and said, Mary, a time will come that the sword will pierce through your own soul. So he gave the prophecy of Jesus, his present, his future, and his end. Everything about him. And then he handed him over to the mother and took his leave. And that was the end of Simeon. Now, anytime God wants to bless a man, he sends a prophet to him to speak into his life. Now, watch this. When Jesus started ministry, guess what Jesus said? The first thing he declared, he said to them, I am the light of the world. Whoever walks in me shall not walk in darkness. How did he know he was the light of the world? Which means when he was being dedicated and the prophet was prophesying, he heard what the prophet said. So when he came out to the public, he told them, my prophet told me I am the light of the world. Can I prophesy to somebody this morning? Has there been any prophecy from the mouth of Pastor Edwin? Has Pastor Edwin said anything to you? When you leave church this morning, tell your friends, my pastor told me I am the best. My pastor told me I will succeed. My pastor told me I will make it. Let me ask your neighbor, what did your pastor tell you? Can you lift up your right hand? I connect my grace to the grace of our pastor. And I stand on this exalted altar to declare, whatever has challenged your destiny, whatever has stood as a limitation before you, as you walk out of this place this morning, it is broken. It is broken. It is broken. Let me hear somebody shout a better amen. Sit down and never go down. Jesus said to them, I'm the light of the world. Whoever walks in me shall not walk in darkness. And then when the woman, the Syrophoenician woman, saw him, he said to him, thou son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is possessed by a demon. Help me to deliver her. Jesus looked at her and said, I am sent only to the household of Israel. It's not your turn for miracle. For now, I'm the glory of Israel. When I die on the cross, the Gentiles will see the light. The Gentiles will see the light because the Holy of Holies is still covered. Nobody has seen through it before. And you agree with me that the Holy of Holies was being entered by one man once in a year. And here comes a man who is the light of the Gentiles. I understood by research that the Holy of Holies that is covered has a small window, a tiny window that reflects light from the Holy of Holies to the congregation. And according to the pattern, that window is not to block light from entering there, but to bring the Shekinah of the presence of the Lord into the congregation. So now when Jesus has died and the curtain is taken away, everyone will see the light. Everyone will see the Shekinah. So Jesus was being prophesied to. You will be a light to the Gentiles. Now, brethren, this is a man who is 100% God and 100% man. And he couldn't succeed without a prophet. Bro, you need a prophet over your life. You need a prophet to watch over you. God has never blessed anyone without connecting him to a prophet. Every breakthrough you have in life is traceable to an encounter you had with a prophet of God. Anytime you have an encounter with a man who carries unction on his life, everything about you changes. And God at one point in time orders people's step to a particular prophet who will influence their life. And that is why he ordered every one of us and connected us to the ministry of Pastor Edwin. I saw the other day, the prophets helps you to recover your lost goods. Here comes a man called Saul. The Bible recorded that Saul, the son of Kish, was the tallest man in Israel and was the Mr. Israel, the most handsome. And yet he lost something that is so important to him. And he began to search around all the bush, all the forest in Israel, searching. What are you looking for? I'm looking for one donkey that has been lost. And while he was looking for that donkey, God looked down from heaven and said, well, I want to send him a prophet that will help him. And the servant said, Oga, let's go look for a prophet. A prophet will tell us where the missing ass is. He said, well, I can't go to a prophet. I don't have anything to give him. Oh, which means you don't go to a prophet empty-handed. You don't meet him empty-handed. He said, I can't go and I don't have anything. The boy said, Master, I still have some money left in my pocket. I still have something. Let's go and meet him. And then the Lord spoke to Samuel. A young man is coming to see you. When he comes, anoint him the captain of Israel. And now when Saul saw Samuel, Samuel said to Saul, the Lord has chosen you to be the leader in Israel. You are going to be the captain over his people. And Saul said, I'm a small boy. My family is small in Israel. I'm from the Benjamites. There is no prophecy of leadership in my lineage. In my tribe, there is no prophecy of leadership. So how am I going to be a leader? I said, well, God has chosen you. It has pleased God to choose you, to break protocols and choose you. Because when Jacob was dying, Jacob began to prophesy upon his children and began to tell them what their future will look like. Now, to Benjamin, he didn't mention anything about leadership. He looked at Judah and said, Judah, unto you shall the gathering of the people be. You are a lion's whelp. The scepter of leadership shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. So everything about leadership in Israel is handed over to Judah. Now, how come God bypassed Judah and picked a man from Benjamin? He chose him and said to Samuel, anoint him. He will be the next. He will be the king. He will be the leader. And then, watch this. Because Samuel the prophet knows something that other people don't know. Samuel knew that the prophecy of leadership, of kingship, was not upon Benjamin. When Samuel was anointing Saul, Samuel took the oil. The Bible said he took the flask of oil, not the horn. In Israel, kings are anointed with horns, not flask. He took the flask of oil and poured on the head of Saul and said, is it not because the Lord have chosen you captain, not king? The Lord have chosen you captain because that kingship, that scepter of kingship belongs to a tribe, and Saul is not from that tribe. So he was careful enough, sir. There is something your prophet knows about you that you don't know. That's why he will come up and pick you and say, give you a task that in your eyes, why will pastor tell me to? He knows I can't do it. Sir, there is something he knows you don't know. There is something God have shown him that he didn't show you. Have you ever wondered in your heart, why is it that every Sunday you come to church, pastor will just stand and begin to declare, it's your week of favor, it's your week of joy. How? Did you know? Why is he saying that? God have showed him something in the secret. Jesus said, the things I show you in the secret, declare it in the open. There is something God have shown him that he didn't show you. Now, he said to Saul, the Lord has anointed you captain over his people. And then Saul went in as the captain and began to behave as a king. Watch this. Saul and David were referred to as the first and second kings of Israel. But you agree with me that Saul failed and David succeeded. Why? What happened? One major thing that made two of them, this one succeeded, this one failed. One major thing was because of the office of a prophet. Saul never had respect for the office of the prophet. David had respect for the office of the prophet. The moment Samuel anointed Saul as captain, Saul forgot everything about David, about Samuel. Saul was just enjoying himself, forgetting that there was a man God used to put him on that throne. Saul forgot that now that you are here, God told the children of Israel in the book of Deuteronomy, he said, when you have entered the land your God gave you to possess, take heed to thyself that thou should remember the priest. Now Saul came up on the throne and began to behave as a king, not as a captain, and forgot Samuel. One day, God got angry. Samuel, I don't like Saul again. I've decided to impeach him. Samuel said, God, how are we going to do it? God summoned the host of heaven and they cast a vote of no confidence in Saul. And God called Samuel. Samuel, we will remove Saul. Samuel said, what do we do? How do we do it? God said, Samuel, tell Saul to prepare for sacrifice. I'm coming to take sacrifice. And then Samuel sent a message to Saul. Prepare for sacrifice. I will be there. When the day of sacrifice came, God told Samuel, sit down in your house. Don't go. Samuel stood up to go. God said, wait. Saul waited and waited. Samuel was not coming. Saul stood up and said, since Samuel is not coming, I'm the king. Let me offer the sacrifice. As soon as he took the sacrifice and offered it, God said, Samuel, now move. God was setting Saul up for his destruction. May God not set you up. May you not look down on the prophet and God will set you up. So God set Saul up. As soon as he offered the sacrifice, God said, Samuel, go. As Samuel arrived, Saul says, why? I have been waiting for you. I waited now, I didn't see you. And we are losing the battle. I had no choice than to offer the sacrifice. Samuel said, when was it your turn or your responsibility to offer sacrifice? When did it become your responsibility? Now look at something here. Any man who offers sacrifice, according to the Levitical priesthood order, any priest that offers sacrifice takes the meat home. He removes the fats, all the part of the meat that are dangerous to human body. He removes them. Those are the parts God said burn in fire. Those ones are called burnt offering. He removes them and burn them. And those who are to nourish the human body, God said take. So anyone who offers sacrifice is the one who eats the meat, who eats the fruit. Now, and that is solely the responsibility and the part of the priest. And here comes Saul, who is not a priest. He went and offered sacrifice. And somebody said, why did you do this now? He said, I waited for you, I didn't see you. Samuel said to him, you have acted foolishly. because the Lord would have established your kingdom forever. Now that you have done this, well, I'm sorry, you have missed it. As Samuel turned to leave,